Hare Krishna, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue reading from Caitanya Caritamrita Adi-Lila. We are on chapter 7. Text 119. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetragyakya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Samshnaya Tritya Shakti Ishyate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The potency of Lord Vishnu is summarized in three categories, namely the spiritual potency, the living entities, and ignorance. The spiritual potency is full of knowledge. The living entities, although belonging to the spiritual potency, are subject to bewilderment. And the third energy, which is full of ignorance, is always visible in fruitive activities. So this is from Vishnu Puran. And this is Vishnu Puran 6.7.61. So in the previous verse, which is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, it has been established that the living entities are to be categorized among the Lord's potencies. So we are the living entity. We are the soul, no? So we are the living entity, not the body. When we say we are the living entity, we are not referring to the body, but we are referring to the soul. So who are we actually? What is our origin? Who is our origin? And then what is being said is, we are one of the Lord's potencies. We are one of energies of God. We are in one of category, because God is omnipotent. We say God is omnipotent, means he has many, many potencies. So we are one of the potencies of God. We do not have a separate existence than God. We are part and parcel of God. The Lord is potent, and there are varieties of potencies. Parasya Shaktir Vividheva Shruyate. Now, in this quotation from the Vishnu Puran, this is further confirmed. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the living entities are my spiritual energy. He's saying that. And he's saying that they are trying to lord it over this material inferior energy. So the material energy is Krishna's inferior energy. We, the living entities, are Krishna's superior energy. It's also said in, same thing is also mentioned in Vishnu Puran. There are varieties of potencies, and they have been divided into three categories, namely spiritual, marginal, and external. So God is omnipotent. For our, but we are limited. Our mind and our understanding is limited. So for our benefit, these varieties of potencies are broadly divided into three categories. One is called the spiritual potency. That is the internal potency. Then another is called marginal potency. That is us, the living entities. We, the soul, the Jivatma, we come under this category of marginal energy. And external energy. External energy is this material energy, the material nature, the material elements. This is Krishna's external energy. The spiritual potency is manifested in the spiritual world. Krishna's form, qualities, activities, and entourage are all spiritual. So just as here in this material world, it's all material energy, in the spiritual world, everything is being done by the spiritual energy. Here in the material world, everything is being controlled by the material energy. And she is working under Krishna's direction. Krishna says, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Charachara. She does not work independently. She is listening to Krishna's orders. So similarly, in the spiritual world, everything is happening by the spiritual potency. So Krishna's form, Krishna has a form, beautiful Sham Sundar two-handed form. This form is spiritual. Krishna has many qualities. All those qualities are spiritual. Krishna has many activities, pastimes, leelas. They are all spiritual. And entourage. Krishna has so many pure devotees with him. They are all spiritual. So this is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 6. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaro api san kritim swam adhisthaya sambhavami atma mayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my spiritual potency, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4 is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. He's giving transcendental knowledge to Arjuna in this chapter 4. And in text 6 of this chapter, Krishna is saying, I'm unborn. Krishna never takes birth. Then we will say, but then how does he appear as son of Vasudeva and Devaki? This is Krishna's inconceivable potency. He's everywhere. He's in every atom of every universe. So why can't he appear from the womb of Devaki? And then Krishna's body is transcendental. It is spiritual. So it never deteriorates. Krishna at the time of the battle of Kurukshetra was about 125 years old. He didn't need to color his hair. We are 30 something, 40 something, we have to start coloring our hair, otherwise it turns white. Krishna is 125 years old at that battlefield. He didn't need to color his hair. He didn't need to put Botox to look young. He doesn't look wrinkly. He looks like a 25-year-old man, ever fresh, because his body is spiritual. He does not need to do all these facials, uplifting things, or whatever, all the things that we do for the body to look young. Krishna doesn't need to do that because his body is spiritual. And he is the Lord. He is God. Yet he comes. He comes millennium after millennium. He doesn't need to come, but he comes out of his attachment for his pure devotees. How does he come? By his spiritual potency. Krishna is never affected by the material energy. He always is with the spiritual energy. And he comes in his original transcendental form. So what is the original form of God? If someone asks, how does God look like? God looks like a Sham Sundar. This is Krishna's original form. God's original form is his Sham Sundar form, with two lotus hands, holding a flute, two lotus eyes, wearing a peacock feather. This is God's original form. It's transcendental. Atma Maya refers to the spiritual potency. When Krishna comes to this or any other universe, he does so with his spiritual potency. We take birth by the force of the material potency, but as stated here, with reference to the Vishnu Puran, the Kshetragya or living entity belongs to the spiritual potency. Thus, when we free ourselves from the clutches of the material potency, we can also enter the spiritual world. So Krishna comes, but he's not forced. He comes by his own choice. It's his own free will. He chooses to come. He chooses his parents. He chooses which planet he's going to come, when he's going to come. He chooses who is going to come with him. It's his choice. He's independent. We think we have this independence, but no. We don't know when we are going to be said, okay, enough. Now your term in this body is finished. You have to leave this body right away. We don't know when that's going to happen. And then suddenly we are going to find ourselves in a new body. Like how we found ourselves in this body. Nobody asked us a questionnaire, which body you want to take, which planet, which universe, which kind of parents you want, which kind of, species you want. No, nobody asked us anything. We are just pushed and pulled by the force of material nature. But we are spiritual. We are not material. So when we revive our original Krishna consciousness, then we don't need to be here in the material world. We can be in the spiritual world. Spiritual world. Then we are not under the laws of material nature. So that's the reason it is so important to revive our Krishna consciousness. Love of God is there in everyone's heart. We simply have to revive it by hearing, chanting, worshipping the deity, visiting the temple. The more we do it, the more we can revive our love of God. Is that okay? So
yes,
yes, thank you. So we, the living entity, we are the soul, and we are Krishna's marginal energy, spiritual energy. Yeah, this is what we have to understand. We are spiritual energy. We are not material energy. What kind of energy we are?
material energy.
I'm sorry.
We are material energy.
No, we are
marginal. Yes.
Marginal.
Shilpa,
That's right.
Hare Krishna. Shilpa,
Hare
you just
Krishna.
asked a while ago about what do we think of when you were reading Bhagavatam. That time I was thinking of all about so much science you were reading, and now it's all about energy. So it's basically we're not even body; it's all energy. It's I don't know. I mean, what to say? I mean, as if we are nothing. It's all energy. Hare Krishna.
Krishna's energies. Yeah, but we are Krishna, one of Krishna's energy. We are Krishna's marginal energy, his spiritual energy. So, I mean, when you say it's all energy, what does it, what are you thinking of?
I mean, a while ago, I was just thinking about all science, our body, eyes, ears, hair, and suddenly we are reading about, everything in us is nothing absolutely. It's just energy, I mean, we're coming from him. Everything is by him. I'm just thinking about we really nothing absolutely, with this whole body, what we have here.
I guess. Yes. And that's right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your realization. Yes. It's true, no? Everything Krishna is doing, how the body is developing, as you rightly said, it's all Krishna's laws. Then all these energies, they're all Krishna's energies. We are also one of Krishna's energies. So very good realization. Yes, thank you for sharing this realization. But otherwise, we think we are God, we think, we are great. But when we read the scriptures, then we begin to understand the truth, right?
Yeah, like we're just body. It's absolutely nothing. I mean, I feel this is also false, and everything is actually nothing. This body, this science is, it's not really important. What is important is his energy.
So yeah, so the body, it's true. We are inside this body, and we, his energy, we are important, yes. And we are the soul. We are the soul. And we belong to Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So as you rightly said, yes, the body is not important. We are all the time thinking we are the body, but we are inside the body. And so now that we are inside the body, we need to use this body to get out of the material world and go back to the spiritual world where we actually belong. Because we are spirit souls. We are spirit souls. And we have a spiritual form. We have a spiritual body in the spiritual world. And so we need to go back there. And the more we hear and chant, then the quicker we can go back. Follow the regulative principles under the direction of a spiritual master, then we can go back quicker, back home. Is that okay?
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Thank you for sharing your realization. Very, very nice. It's good to hear your comments, all of you, and what you're getting out of it, you know? Because when we share with each other our realizations, then we are learning from each other. So thank you so much.
I have one
yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I have one
Yes,
question. Like, it's Krishna's choice when he will take birth, when he will go to another universe or Brahman, and when will come, when will die. It's all Krishna choice. Like, it's all depends upon Krishna. So, is there any statement or anything written regarding the death? Like some kids, they die when they take birth. Some they die at a very early age. So what is the cause? Is anything written regarding this? Like karma, I know, based on their karma. But what any other thing related with this? Like why they death in very early age, or some disease or something like that in very early age. So what is the cause? If everything is based on Krishna's choice, then why these things happen? What is the reason behind it?
You rightly said, no, because of law of karma. So law of karma is there. Krishna, he has written the law of karma. Now, how we act, that is our independent choice. And based on our actions, we get the karma. So Krishna is not responsible for our actions. Krishna is not responsible for our happiness or distress. Krishna is not responsible for our karma. He has set the laws of karma. For example, the country, the judicial system, the judge, he makes the laws. He makes the laws. Now, someone will follow the laws and be happy, whereas someone may misuse the laws and he will be penalized. So the judge is not responsible for that. His responsibility is just to set the laws. So Krishna has made the laws of karma, but we, out of our own independent choice, make either the correct decisions or the wrong decisions. Based on that, we have particular time in a particular body, or we have a particular disease, so all that is based on our choice. And at any time, we can change this material karma. At any time, because Krishna is giving us this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to help us make the correct choice to become Krishna conscious. And when we become Krishna conscious, then the laws of karma don't apply. They don't apply. That's how we can leave this material world. You know, when we are working for the pleasure of Krishna, then we don't get karma, because then the work is done for pleasure of Krishna. Then we are making correct decisions. Then with that correct decision, we can get out of this material world. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Like it's based on our past life, this karma we are like suffering in this life.
Yes, past many past lives, or maybe this life also. Yes, it's true. It's our decision. So we are responsible for it. Krishna is not responsible for our actions. Krishna is not responsible for what choices we make. So that is why we make our own destiny. We are choosing our own destiny. We are choosing our own future, whether we want to continue to remain in the material world or we want to get out of the material world and go back to the spiritual world and have a spiritual destiny. The choice is ours.
Okay.
So to help us make correct choice, Krishna gives us this message of Bhagavad Gita. He comes time and time again to give us the instructions, leaves behind Srimad Bhagavatam, leaves behind Bhagavad Gita-As. He comes himself or he sends his pure devotees to help us explain our real position and to help us to make, so that we can make correct decisions, correct choices, so that we can get out of here. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
So we are thinking that we are the body. We are thinking we are body, but no, we are spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. And each of us have this intense love of Krishna. That is the goal of human life, for us to revive this love of Krishna. You know, that is our goal, because each of us have this loving relationship with Krishna. That is our true position, our true identity as loving parts and parcels of Krishna.
So maybe
And
Krishna sends us
yes,
to this material world to take our taste, like how much we are going to be pure with material sense in this material world.
so Krishna sends us to this material world because we get this desire to be him. We get a desire that I want to be God. And we get envious that why is Krishna God? So because of this, he sends us to the material world so that we can pretend that we are God. We can pretend Krishna does not exist. We can imitate God. And at the same time, correct this wrong desire of ours. Because our correct desire is that love with Krishna, that loving relationship with Krishna. But somehow we get this wrong desire that I want to be Krishna. Why is Krishna God? I want to be God. So because of this ichcha and dvesh, then Krishna sends us to this material world so that we can give up this desire and again revive our love for him. And then we can go back to the spiritual world. Just like the prison is made for certain individuals who misuse the independence. And because they misuse the independence and they do some wrong activity, they have to be put in the prison. So because of this wrong desire that we have, we are put in this material world. so that we can get a chance to, because we have the desire to enjoy the material world, pretend we are God, pretend to be the enjoyers, pretend to control the material world. So because of this desire, and to help us understand that this is a wrong desire and help us revive our love of God, that's the reason we are here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very important question. Thank you so much for all your participation. It's really helpful. Thank you. Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.